Okay, so does your country have an equivalent of the Baker Act? And do you know what the Baker Act is over here?
Well, I kind of read about it, and it's like a law for mental health.
Yes, exactly. Whenever someone's gonna kill themselves, we can put them under a Baker Act to avoid them from hurting themselves. We it's kind of like imprison them.
Okay. Well, here we have like mental health law. Well, it's not. Well, it's like a plan they created in 2006, and that was the last time they checked it. It's supposed to be from 2006 to 2015.
Okay.
And right now, so far, the improvement it had is like 5% of what they really wanted to have.
Oh.
So it's not really
Not
what
really
they expected.
Yeah.
So they're not really doing anything about it.
Okay. So what does the law do?
Huh?
What does that law do?
Well, they're supposed to receive everyone that has any mental situation, any illness. They're supposed to provide medicine, they're supposed to provide attention. It's supposed to be for free for the citizens, but it doesn't work. They didn't put it into practice yet.
Okay. So, how about the next question is, what do people call a facility for mentally ill clients?
Okay, so the facility that we have one that it's a public one.
Okay.
And it's a psychiatric hospital. It's called Padre Vigini, a priest. And it was founded in 1959. And it's very, I don't know how to say it. It's like in a really bad condition.
Okay.
We have that one that is the only one public. And then we have like 4 or 5 private ones that are really well equipped and equipped. The equipments are very new.
Oh, okay.
So, but those ones are private and are really expensive. And those ones they like to remain anonymous because the situation in this country is like if you have any mental illness or anything, they call you crazy and they kind of I don't know, like expel you, or they want to take you out of society. They don't want to have anything to do with you. That's how it is here. So.
Okay. Yeah. That's so interesting. It really is. I know it is bad. Like over here, you get definitely a stigma for being mentally ill, but still, that's even worse. Okay, so the next question is, how does a mentally ill individual get committed to a psychiatric facility?
Well, they first go to the hospital, and there they have a mental health department where they check them, the psychologist or the psychiatrist, and then after what they see, they transfer them or they take them. But in the public ones, well, it's not very good. It's like, I don't know how to tell you, but it doesn't really work. So if they take you there, it's because they're really, well, some people go there because they're very poor. They don't have homes. They don't have food. So they know that they're going to have it for sure there. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they pretend to have a mental illness. They pretend to have something. And once they are in, they have food and shelter for sure. And whatever they can have there is better than in the streets. But in the private ones, there's a requirement. There's procedure that they have to follow. Because the private ones are I think they're regulated by laws from another country, because here we don't have them. So we have them, but no one makes them. No one enforces them.
That's so crazy, man.
Yes, it's really bad.
Oh.
If you want to have mental health or mental health care, whatever, you need to pay for it a lot of money.
Yeah. We kind of have that issue too because like there are things that are public, but they just aren't. They're like just so sad, you know, like it's really in bad condition and very hard to receive care,
Yes.
kind of thing. But yeah, it's kind of like even here we complain about it a lot how bad the mental health system is.
Yeah, well, I went with my university. I went to the public one, the only one they have here, and I cannot explain. They're like big cages that they have for the people without beds, depending on their condition, because some patients are really, they're dangerous. So they put them in those kind of cages with even bars and everything, and they put the plates on the floor and they have to run and get it. It's crazy. It's like animals, and it's really sad.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe
Really,
your
really
school
sad.
took you to see it.
What?
I can't believe your university took you to see it.
Yes, well, because we were studying psychology, so we needed to see the reality of our country.
Wow.
They took us to the public one, and then they took us to a private one with permission. And the difference is, you think you're in another country.
Really? Wow. So how long can a mentally ill client be like confined to a psychiatric facility? I think they mean like how long can they be forced to stay in a psychiatric facility, or more, I guess, like how long will they allow them to stay, I guess.
Well, it depends on the doctor, whatever the doctor said. In the private ones, as soon as their treatment is over and the doctor says they can go home, they're allowed to leave. It depends on the treatment. In the public ones, in the public one we have, it's another story. It's as soon as they run out of supplies, food, medicine, or whatever, they have to take them out because they cannot take care of them.
Yeah. Here, like, we do a lot of insurance company things, so, like, your insurance company will only pay for a certain amount of days for you to stay there. So, like, say, like, after 4 or 5 days, they're going to start pressuring you to leave the hospital.
Okay.
So you won't be able to stay very long. But I guess there's some perks of insurance, but not a lot.
It's sad.
Do you guys, what are your insurance plans like? That's just a personal question.
What kind of?
Like, do you have insurance plans that are, like, good for your family kind of thing, or do you guys even use insurance?
Well, in the insurance, we don't have the psychiatrist or anything that is related to mental health. The insurance doesn't cover it because it's too expensive. So whatever you need to pay yourself, your family. You cannot. There's not insurance for that.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
We don't have any insurance that covers mental health here.
Okay, so next question is, what are the requirements for discharge?
Discharge
to be like sent home. So like whenever they do send a person home from a mental hospital or something, what are the things they have to do to just be allowed to go home?
Well, in the private ones, you need to follow the procedure they have. You need to follow your treatment depending on what the doctor says. If you recovered, I guess they also make you go back. Like, you don't stay there, but you have to visit it frequently so that the psychiatrist can check that you've been taking your meds and everything.
Right.
And in the public ones, I don't really know. I don't think they do anything, because if they run out of supplies, or they don't really keep track on the patients. They don't have like
a file system or
a file. Exactly, they don't have it, because it's like most of the people that work there are volunteers. Others don't really get well paid. There's not enough people working,
so no one's like really trained to deal with them either.
Exactly. Some are just nurses that work in hospitals, normal hospitals, and probably they don't even have the training to work with these people.
Right.
But they want to do good, so they want to help.
Oh. Okay. How long can a mentally ill client be confined to psychiatrist? Wait, I already asked you that. Sorry. My numbers are changing. So who pays for the cost of mental health treatment? You already told me that insurance doesn't, so it's out of pocket,
well,
I guess.
In the public one, when most of what they get, the supplies and everything, it's donations. And I read that less than 1% of the government's money goes for that. So imagine, less than 1%.
Really?
Plus donations, that's what they can get.
Right. But, like, as far as, like, the country goes, it's not like a country with a lot of funds anyways, right? Like...
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
As far as your country goes, there's not a lot of extra money for many other things, right? So, like, not only are you dealing with mental ill health problems, it's like schools and it's like everything.
Well, with the last government we had last year, we were fighting to get a 4% of the money for education. Mm-hmm. So imagine 4%.
Right, for education.
Yeah, so we got it, and we finally got it, and now there's this new plan that I'm going to work on, and there's other plans that they're working on, this new government, but it's only 4%, and we had to fight a lot. So,
right, for something that everyone accepts that education is smart, let alone something that no one accepts.
Exactly.
Okay, so... The next question is, are healthcare services readily available to the mentally ill? So, yeah, you know the question.
Well, the services are really, well, if it's in the private, yes, for the private hospitals that we have, the services are really good, but in the public one, no.
Yeah. Interesting. Are alternative folk medicines being used?
Alternative? What do you mean? Which type of medicine?
So, like in Haiti, they use a lot of voodoo, right? To like cure things.
Okay.
What kind of things like that are being used in the Dominican?
Well, here I don't think we have that type of medicine for the mental health, I guess. Yeah. I didn't hear about anything.
What do you think they use natural remedies or herbal remedies at all?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I know you guys are mostly like based on religious kind of means, maybe.
Yes, we are more Catholics than we're not like Haiti. Yes.
Okay.
People do pray a lot, and they pray for, I guess their medicine is praying.
Yeah, okay, that's like good, yeah.
Taking natural things, I don't think so.
Okay. So, what are the stigmas attached to mental disorder? So, like, what are the bad things that people think about? And, like, you kind of told me at the beginning how they just say they're just crazy.
Yes. Well, here, if you have someone in your family that has a mental disorder or illness, people normally don't talk about it, and they don't relate to that part of the family. They don't tell anyone. It's like they're ashamed of it, and it's bad. People don't talk about going to the psychologist or the psychiatrist because they're gonna think that they're crazy, and people are not gonna be their friends, and that's how it is here. They exclude them from everything.
Okay. Kind of like when you're disabled as well, right?
What?
Kind of like when you're disabled, like you're like missing, I don't know, like you're mentally disabled, kind of.
Yes. Here it's like that.
Okay, so the next question is, how are people with mental health issues treated? What medications are being offered?
Well, in the public one, they have mostly antidepressive and antipsychotics are the ones that they mostly use. They have an electroshock device.
Yeah.
And well, they showed us the one they have, and they have it since they opened, so it's really old. And they told us that only one person can use it because it's so old that it has problems. I don't know. So in the private ones, they have all of the medicine. They're really up to date in that part because people pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
what was it? Do you think, are they receiving like counseling services while they're in the public or the?
Well, in the private ones, yes, they do receive counseling. They receive everything. It's great. The services they provide. They have support groups. They have many things to offer to their patients, and they even compete to be the best ones, even if they are like anonymous. They're not outside there for the people to know about them, but among each other and offering to their patients, they compete to have the best. And
but at the private one, at the public one, they don't offer like rehabilitation or anything.
No, it's more like volunteering, and the situation they have them, the patients, is kind of hard because some of them are not even medicated because probably they don't have the medicine there, so they cannot give it to them, and they have to put them in the cage so they don't go out of control. So it's kind of hard.
Are do they keep them clothed? Like, do they wear clothes when they're inside that facility?
Well, when I went, there were some of them that were not wearing clothes, and because they kind of hurt themselves with whatever they have.
Right. We're reading a book like that for a class that talks about the jails and stuff.
If you want, there's some pictures in Facebook, because there's like a Facebook page for the hospital where they show the situation of the hospital so people can see how bad it is. So if you want, I can send you the link later, and you can.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
See the pictures.
Oh my gosh.
Of how bad it is.
Oh, terrible. Okay, so what role does a family play in an individual's mental health care?
The private one, like I told you, sometimes they just take them there and leave them there until the treatment is over. It depends on the family, because sometimes, here, the richer families, they're the ones that are very rich. They're embarrassed of that situation, so they kind of don't play an important role in that recovery or in that process. And in the poor one, I did see some relatives and some family close to them taking care of them, because it's like there's not enough people.
Yeah.
So sometimes they have to play the role of the nurse or take them to the bathroom, or sometimes they even have to buy the medicine outside and bring it.
Wow, that's crazy. So
yes, in that part, like if you need to buy medicine, you need a prescription from the doctor. But because we have that situation in the public one, sometimes they can get the medicine without any prescription, and that's kind of dangerous too.
Yeah, that is scary. So how would you describe the quality of care received by the mentally ill? Well,
I think it's really poor. It's really bad in the public part, but in the private one, I guess it's excellent quality, and totally the opposite. It's like two different. It's really, really hard, but it's like that.
Right.
In the private one, it's excellent quality because they even compete and people pay a lot of money. But in the public one, it's really bad.
What are the licensure procedures for counselors, psychologists, and social workers?
Well, in the private one, you need to get a major in psychology. You need to go to university to be able to work there.
Okay.
Some of my friends that studied with me in university, they found a job there and they're doing very good.
Okay.
But you need to do other workshops and, I don't know, take other extra classes or constantly getting prepared,
Right.
learning about everything, updating all the information.
Okay. For us.
But in the public one, no.
No. You don't even have to go to college, or yeah.
Well, in the public one, if you have a head of the department or something like that, yeah, the doctor, the one that leads everything, that one needs to know what he's doing. But to be like a nurse or to work there, you can't even volunteer, and you can only do what they tell you to do. They're gonna tell you, bring me that I don't know, bring me that thing and put it over here. Help me do this.
Okay.
Because they need the help.
So for us, we have to get our 4-year psychology degree.
Exactly.
And then we have to get our master's degree. And then we spend 2 years getting licensure. So we're out doing our counseling for 2 years, where we have to get a certain amount of hours of experience, and then they allow us to start doing it.
Okay, well, here, in that part, you do your internship, but I don't think they ask you to have any amount of hours to work. They only ask you to have the degree and
just to kind of like get experience, and then you're allowed to do it, right?
No, here, my friends that are working there, they went right after out of the university. They started working there, and well, of course they don't put you a big position. They only put you something. They give you a position that you can take,
right?
And then when you do your master's degree, they can give you a higher position.
Okay, so they do have a master's degree for it?
Yes, and most of the people go to the States to do it, or...
Oh, really? But you don't have to have a license, though, I guess, in particular?
In the private one?
Yeah, in the private one.
A license, like a special one?
Yeah.
No, all you need is your degree and your master's.
Oh, you do need your master's?
Yes, to work in a higher position, like with more responsibility.
Okay. So, but say, like, just to be a counselor, like, I'm going to be a marriage and family or couples counselor or, like, rehabilitation for that?
Well, for that, if it's only for counseling, no, they don't ask you to have a master's.
Okay, got it. That's really cool. But, I mean, I don't know how good it is, but that's kind of exciting that you could just get started. Okay. Do mentally ill clients have rights? And are their records held confidential?
Well, in the private ones, yes, they do have the rights and they do follow those confidential like rules. They don't talk about anyone. They don't give you any names. They don't even let you see the patients. They don't let you use the name of the hospital. They don't let you. It's like really something classified. I don't know.
Good.
It's because of how it is here also, because people they really pay a lot of money for that to be kept as a secret. Also.
Right. Cool.
But in the public one, they don't really keep record of anything. So if you want to go help, you can go help, and they don't really care if you saw who's there.
So, okay, like, say someone who's mentally ill, they get, like, kind of diagnosed as being mentally ill. Are they allowed to, like, do you think they're allowed to vote, or are they allowed to kind of, like, be normal in society, or do they lose a lot of their rights, kind of, because of it?
Actually, they have their rights. They don't lose their rights because they are mentally ill. They can vote.
Okay.
So in that part,
that's interesting.
They do have all the rights.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's good. I know there's something like if you get put in jail and you get committed with a felony or something, then you're not allowed to vote here in the United States.
Here, I think we have it too for jail, but here for the mentally ill, because how they have it, like for example, the private ones that can afford that, they're very rich families, so they don't talk about it and nobody really knows. It's not like they put a stamp on your ID that says that you are mentally ill, so you cannot vote.
Okay.
And in the public ones, they don't go. So they have the right to go, but they don't go. So it's like nobody
Okay.
tells them not to do it. They just don't.
Yeah, they're not doing well.
Yeah.
How many people do you think are in a mentally like one of the private hospital?
I didn't get it. What?
How many people are at a time do you think are at the private institution?
At a time, well, we have one that is very big. That I think that one can take like 80 at
Okay.
a time. That stay there because they have the, I don't know how you call it in English. Like they can walk through and
A
they
day
can walk
program?
and go.
There's like a day program, like where people come in for the
Exactly.
day
Like
and
you
then
can
go
go
home
only
for
for the, I don't know, counseling, or you, depending on what part of your treatment you are.
Okay.
And they have one that like you can stay. They have the capacity for 80 people that are staying there.
Uh-huh.
And then for the ones that go and go, those ones they have like well, more like 60, or because that one is really big.
Okay.
But it's really expensive, that one too.
See,
And then there are two more that are smaller that are for less.
it's so interesting because that doesn't sound like a lot of people, you know, for an entire country. It doesn't.
What?
For an entire country, it doesn't really sound like that many people can
No.
fit there, you know?
Yes.
But not
But
that the entire country can't afford to go there, but still.
No, exactly. And we only have it. We have only that one that in the capital in Santo Domingo. In the other towns, I don't really know if we have, but I don't think so because the only private one, I mean, the only public one that we have in the country, I think, is this one. And then in the other towns or cities, they only go to the hospital.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. For us, we really like deinstitutionalized is what they call it. Like we used to have institutions for the mentally ill, and it was like the one that you say, like the public one. It's like everyone was behind bars and they were like kept in terrible condition, like kind of like tortured almost, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so we like, but did this big deal to like get deinstitutionalized. So we no longer want institutions, and we want them to like revamp and get better. But that just led to everyone closing down their institution and letting go all of the people who had their problems into the streets. So now we have a large homeless population who are mentally ill. And then that led to like we do have like the private hospitals that are well kept, but you know those are very expensive, and even for an American that's very expensive to go to. And then otherwise most people go to public ones, and the public ones are kind of just like older hospital style, I think, you know, just like owned by the state and the government, and they do provide services, but like it's just very understaffed, like a lot of patients per counselor, per doctor, you know.
Yeah.
And so, and not a lot of the patients aren't treated as well as, or like given, because I don't know, a lot of them end up in jail, and then they really are treated like kind of like tortured, like not really tortured, but you know, like kept naked all day and just not going through the rehab that they should be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But someone who's mentally ill can't afford to go to it.
Yeah, of course.
Unless their family can, you know.
Well, for kids here, we don't have anyone that can take them, like keep them. Though for kids, they can only like go to the day program with their families and then go home. That's it. We don't have anyone that takes them. Even the private ones, they don't take kids.
Interesting.
So it's like the poor kids have to grow like that, and nobody's gonna
help them.
Yeah, help them. Aww. And when they get older, it's when they can enter to one and get the treatment.
Weird. I mean, I know like a lot of mental illness doesn't show itself until a person is older, but still, like there's suppression in childhood, and especially when you're growing up with a poor living situation. What percent of do you know like what the percent of your population is like below poverty?
below poverty
Yeah.
in the population, well, I think it's 80% or 75
Exactly.
below, like really in a really, really, really bad situation.
Yeah. That's crazy,
And I know
right?
that, um, like medium class that we still have, it's like, I would say, I don't know, like 5 or 10%. And then
Wow.
like 2 or like that 2% is like very rich people.
Right.
And then whatever is left is poor people, but not really, really poor.
Oh. Interesting. Yep. I wanted to ask so that, like, I don't know, we could clarify that.
Yeah, you can check it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's perfect. But you really have helped so much. You knew so much, Maria. It was perfect. Yes. All right, I'm gonna stop recording.